Hello, back again with some more tree video map tutorials. So these are probably relatively appropriate for some kind of map that you want to do for your fantasy RPG. Yeah, so they look a little bit more like hand-drawn stuff because of the way I've done them. Let's have a quick look at how I approach these. First of all, I'm going to use my trusty pencil tool, and if you see me using it, I'll always use the shortcut N, but there it is over there. And the key thing to look at up here is the stabilizer, the rope length. The higher it is, the more forgiving it will be. As you can see, I can get quite a nice smooth curve there. If I bring it down to 1 and I try and do a smooth curve, it's a lot harder to do. It'll still try and smooth it out, but for our purposes here of drawing an organic looking tree, we will use the pen tool, and we're going to, if you look up here, we're just going to use the rope length of 1, so it'll make it look a lot more jaggy and messy than it usually would be. That's exactly what we're after. I mean, you can pick any color. For the moment, I'm just going to use black and gray for the minute. Right, so let's try something like these kind of trees here, slightly pointy ones. So with my pen tool selected, I'm going to effectively draw a triangle. And off we go. And I'm also, you'll notice that I'm also bobbling it a bit myself as well, because I really want it to look organic and messy as nature is. So we don't want it to look like it's been procedurally drawn or anything. Okay, so that's fine so far. There's a couple of bits that I think we could improve on. So this here, I don't like this gap, and I'll just simply draw another kind of thing in there, just another lump with my pencil tool, and we'll kind of fill up anything that looks a little bit too clean, or like here's this kind of right angle, we really don't want that. So I'm just going to start planting stuff over it. Of course, I could also go in and select the nodes here and do something about it, but I just think by using the pencil tool you get kind of a better look, and it's a little bit quicker as well. And you don't have to join these. I'll show you why in a second. So once we're like our little bubbles, I'll use a different color so you can kind of see what I'm adding. Yeah, that's a bit funky, that area there. So we'll select everything, and I'm going to just go up here to the Boolean and add everything together so it becomes one shape. And there we have our base of our tree. Now you could do several of these or just alter them. You could copy this, flip it, maybe change some of the nodes or whatever, so you'd have some variations. Or you could do several of these kind of pointy trees using the same method, but they'd all obviously all be slightly different, you know, etc. So there we have our base for a pointy tree. Now what we'll do is we'll take the pencil tool again, and I'm going to select the base color, which is the white. So now we should be able to come in and follow the outline. Basically what I'm doing is I'm trying to give the impression that we've kind of done a living line with the black area, even though I've effectively made a silhouette. I'm coming in now to do it, but from appearances it should look like it was an outline done by hand. Okay, and if there's anything I want to fix up again, I'll just do our same thing. We'll fill in a few of the, add in a few extra bubbles, or if anything doesn't quite work or is too far from the black, which I think this, and I'm trying to wobble them again as best I can, because Affinity will always try and flatten it out, which is generally what you always want, but sometimes in cases like these you may not want that. And again, I'm not bothering to even close these the shapes here. I'm just leaving them open because I think I'll have to do this area as well, because once I'll close all the shapes now in a sec. So I'll select everything. Then I'm going to hold Shift and select the black outline because I want to deselect it. So that means we're just left with our white selected. I've changed it to a put color so you can see it. And I'm going to, because we've loads of little nodes in here that are their own separate shapes, I'm going to go up to the Boolean and add them again. Now, I can also change this back to white. So effectively we have our tree here. Nicely done. Okay, fine. We could decide that we want a bit of shading in here, and as you can see up here I have done it. Now there's a couple of things here I wanted to kind of point out to you. So at the moment, as it stands, the inside here is its own color. So what I want to do is I want to select these two now, and I want to do a subtract Boolean. So now what we have is I've got rid of the color. So now we have effectively a see-through shape. And why that is so important is because I can have it at this and I don't need to fill it. So for example, let's say I had this color here. I want my tree to, I'm just going to, the map was this purple color, which it wouldn't be of course, but let's try and, sorry, I should have selected that. Let's give it a more of a map color feel, something like that. That means that I can effectively drag this asset anywhere and it would work on any color background you like. Again, you don't have to do that, but you know, you may wish to. So if we wanted shading, then we would do something, similar approach. We'd first of course work out where the lighting is coming from. And the lighting in this case, as nearly with every piece of art I do, the light comes from the top left corner and would fall on the tree like this. So I'm just literally going to copy what I've done up here. Again, I'm going to select the pencil tool. I'm going to select that color for the moment, and I'm just going to literally, from the top here, sorry, I'm going to now just start drawing the shadow in. And it would be shadowy under the tree as well, slightly. So I have to come along here and then try and maneuver within the line here. But this is going to be fine because all I have to do now is, once I come up here, because there's no fill here, I can literally just go up here, move to back, and I can just literally put it behind the black lines. Let's give ourselves some proper color shading. And you can have it whatever you'd like. Maybe let's say that for the moment. You mightn't like if can also adjust. I can just drag several nodes and I can adjust it if I wanted to. If I thought that it was a little bit too like not giving enough shade or etc. So there's that. What looks nice as well is leaving certain bits without shading. Now we can do that in a couple of ways. I could literally do I could literally do our pencil tool again. Sorry, why is that? Yeah. I could literally get our pencil tool and I could start taking a few chunks out of it. Make these one object. And I'm going to then select the shadow and then do a subtract boolean, and then we have our subtraction out there. And you can do that anywhere. You could put a few more up here. If you wanted to. I mean, really how much detail you want is up to you. I don't need to make these one group, but I find that sometimes if you make them one shape, it's easier to do a boolean. It worked in this case, but sometimes it doesn't. So there's our a bit more detail. Better do a trunk, and the trunk is easy enough. Again, we're back to using our tool. I'm going to pick the black color, and I'm just literally going to just do a trunk, whatever, you know, basically like a cylinder, and that's it. This is a little bit strange looking, so I'll just blend that in. Still a little nick there that I don't want. And I'm just going to go up and I'm going to join all the shapes at one, so now they're effectively one shape. I would probably put a bit of shading here, a bit of highlight here, removing the black, just something like this, but we'd leave darkness up here because the base of the tree would cover, and I'm just going to boolean that out. So if I was to go over here and put our shape in, we would have our everything see-through, so there's no fill colors here. Of course this has gone a bit strange, so I would have to select our base color and pick a shade that would be more appropriate than the grey. So let's just keep it on that for the moment. Then you can do extra details. I actually wouldn't have this jet black as it is. I would select our color and I would make it more of a very dark brown. Sun can go away. Let's just make this smaller for now. Actually, I'm going to make this a group, so it's its own asset. And if you wanted shading, which doesn't always happen in fantasy maps, but if you did want shading, because I think it can look kind of cool, we're going to use our trusty brush again, our pencil tool again, and we're going to do something like this. Probably make it lighter, something like this, and of course this would have to go under our asset. So, and you can see because it's clear, the shadow is coming through. We don't want that, so we'd have to adjust that slightly. It's easy enough to do. So you could have something like this. You could group them together, and now you have a few different trees. But you've probably noticed the flaw in having something which I wanted to draw your attention to, because if I wanted to have clumps of trees behind this, I kind of can't, because you'll see that you can see through the objects. So you'd have to be very careful how you're placing your trees. So personally, I would leave these guys filled, so there would be a color. Let's do that now. Ungroup all, and let's move this out of the way. I would simply select the color, and I mean, you could. I'm just trying to think. I'm using the pen tool now just because I don't have to be that precise doing these. As long as I'm hidden behind the black or the outline, I should be okay. So we would select this color, bring this back, and because I've used nudge, I know exactly how many. I don't have to like physically move it back or anything. I know exactly how many, how the distance it's gone without having to do anything. I am going to then, I forgot I have to do this one here. And again, oops, I'll just do this. Now, it doesn't matter if it's messy, because I will just go like this, put it to the back. Now let's select our asset. Let's get rid of all these. And we're back. Oh, better bring him forward. And now it doesn't, I can put these trees as I wish. And we can vary them a little bit. You can even make them taller and skinnier. So now you have your trees. This, I think, shading looks a bit weird. So I'm going to select it, but then I'm going to go to select same, fill color, and I'm going to pick try and get a better fill color for that. Okay, that's a little bit harsh. Now desaturate it slightly. Yes, that. Oh god, oops. That's okay for now. So there are our slightly pointy trees done. What I will do is actually we'll do that, because let's take our pointy tree and exactly, we're just doing a bit of detail for leaves. Again, couldn't be easier. If you find there's gaps here that annoy you, which would annoy me, but I am doing kind of this for a tutorial, so I'm doing it a bit quick. You can see here that a couple of things actually. You can see here that the line has come back because I used the pen tool. It really annoys me. I wish they wouldn't have that as a default. But anyway, I'll come up here, select the stroke or outline of the fill, get rid of it, and now I can kind of come in and I can fix this up if I want, just by may have to add a few or subtract some nodes. Usually it's quite quick to do. One on either side, push it up. Oops. So, I mean, we could go around fixing all that. Etc. But anyway, let's just leave it for now. So that's fine for now, we'll say. And lastly, let's give it some details for some leaves. So I'm just going to select our darker color, back to the pencil tool, and I'm going to try and follow the shape of the tree. And then I'm going to come back in on the line. Don't know if you can hear my dog snoring in the background. I could even duplicate that. Oops. I could hold down Option, duplicate that, being a bit cheeky, and change it and just do something like that. So we have now 2, and we could do it again, just again, just making that kind of slight, we'll do one here. We could alter it slightly. So you've got a little bit of detail there if you wanted. And the important thing is, though, is to look at the tree as a 3D object. So you would try and follow it in this kind of line. You know, you wouldn't just go straight across. Like, it's always a 3D object. So you'd follow its curves like this. I'm doing this very rough, so you get the idea. So that's how you'd follow the curves. For something like this, we do pretty much the same approach. Get my line tool, and I'm just going to make I suppose, a slightly fatter circle, something like this. Okay, so I made a bit of a hash of that. That's fine. We'll get rid of those 2 nodes in there. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. I'll get rid of that. And much like the same approach, I'm going to go back and I'm going to start adding extra bits where I think that to make it look more like jaggy leaves, as opposed to kind of some of that is quite bubbly looking, and that's a little bit better. This looks weird though. I mean, how much detail you want to put in is up to you. And then we're going to again select all of these, make it one shape. Let's do the trunk while I'm here. Again, exactly the same as the other trunk, except we'll start a little bit lower, and we'll do our kind of tubular shape here, and then we'll just draw out some branches. You know, don't try and make them look too symmetrical or anything. So we get here, and depending on the detail of your map and style, you might want a longer trunk. You might want something like this. Just draw a little kind of foot on the tree here for its roots. I mean, you could do something like that. That's starting to look a bit weird now. Center that slightly, but you get the idea. I mean, you can. So something like this, and we're back to our tool again, our pencil tool, and we'll just do and we'll try and follow go inside the line. This time, obviously, I'm not going to I'm going to leave it filled, because we'd be putting it on a different background than this white if it was for an official map of some kind. So there we go, and we'll just tidy up this. Oops, tidy up that. This again. And again, trying to make it as jaggy as possible, just so it gives the appearance of actual leaves. There's a little area I've messed up, no problem. Select those 3 nodes, gone. Yeah, you want to kind of avoid weird separation like this, so just come in and it'll look a lot better. Yeah. But anyway, for all intents and purposes, we'll just leave this now because I think you've got the idea. Right, again, the tree we would put in our white bit as the light would hit it. Something like this. Yeah, it would probably hit the root as well, but some of it anyway, like this. Right, and again, we would use our tool again to pencil tool again to do some shading. This has gone a bit squiff here. Again, we can repair that like something like this. Or if you were lazy, you could do this. We could just take this here. No, sorry. Take these two. I'm going to remove the fill. As you can see, I removed the fill with a Boolean. I can put it back and I can just bring it to the top. So it kind of gets the need to get, being so finicky, because it means you less work to do. Although you have an extra element that you don't really want, but it doesn't really matter once it's the asset is being on the map. No one's going to know. Although if I was selling it for stock art, I would be quite careful of doing stuff like that, because technical stock art, not necessarily role-playing stock art, because it doesn't have to be perfect. But like for technical reasons, if you were selling out something on Shutterstock or iStock or one of those, you would, they don't like stuff that shouldn't be there. And again, we're just going to hit a little bit of add a bit of light here. I just do that twice, just to give us a bit of detail, and as if some of the leaves are actually coming out of the shadow. Bada bing. And that's essentially it. So we can do some more leaf stuff. Let's try and make it bigger this time, as opposed to something like that. I mean, it can be quite random, your leaves, but again, I am trying to follow the shape of you can have them different sizes, but I am trying to follow the contour of the tree itself, which is quite hard with using using your rope length 1 selected. So yeah, but then it still gives us that nice kind of wibbly line that a leaf would have, or leaves would have. Yeah, and maybe just one quick one down here. Yeah, so there's your tree. That you could make these smaller, maybe more detail. Bang. And of course you can then start copying them about and placing them, and you can alter the size, etc., as you need to. Finally, the last tree we'll look at today is some kind of burnt, blackened, or whatever tree, and this is pretty easy to do. Again, you could do this with a pen tool, but I'm going to use my trusty pencil tool, because it's going to give me that kind of wobbly line look again, because I'm only using the one stabilizer. So from this, we're effectively just drawing a kind of a trunk, if you will, and try and bring it in a bit. And you can make it as wobbly as you like by adding more detail. It doesn't really matter. Maybe thicken it out there a bit. And then just give a kind of a blackened looking, sad, thin looking branch like that. Maybe a couple of broken branches like that. And you have your, oh God, that's awful. But you get the idea. That's where I kind of got this from. Just effectively just a kind of a broken branch. And you can just attach a few more, whatever you want. And a couple of little feet. And you've got your kind of blackened branch. And same for the husk. There, effectively, I just kind of broke it off here like this. And did those 3 points there. And you have your... if you want to make it skinnier, you can obviously do this. You know, bring the sides in. So, yeah, that's it for the tree tutorial. I hope it was somewhat useful. Yeah. Oh, I did forget you. I did not do the shadow. But again, a shadow would be done. You know, just effectively your pen tool, whatever shape your tree is. If it's this one, it's going to be that. If it's going to this one, it'll be a trunk, and then it doesn't. You're not really looking for accuracy here, because so something like that. And you would have picked the color you want for your shadow, etc. Oops. Although that, of course, would be round. Anyway, hope you found that somewhat useful. Let me know if there's any other map stuff you would like me to work on, or you would think would be useful. Thanks, and